Welcome to Metafault, your one-way ticket into twisted reality. So buckle up, close your human eyes, open the eyes of your mind, and imagine, what if I told you your thoughts aren't private anymore? And I don't mean in some distant sci-fi future where aliens strap you to a glowing chair. I mean, right now, as you're hearing my voice, there are devices being tested that can reconstruct what's in your head into words, images, and even videos. In universities, military labs, and corporate R&D departments, scientists are teaching AI to read your neural signals, your actual brain activity, and translate them into something another human can understand. A thought, a memory, even a dream. Sounds insane, right? Here's the real mind-bender. This tech isn't locked away in Area 51. Some of it is published in open research journals. Some of it is in products you could technically buy online, if you knew where to look. Over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to walk you through how this works, who's building it, and why it could either save millions of lives or be the most terrifying privacy invasion in human history. And by the end, you might never trust your own mind the same way again. It might sound like science fiction, but the idea of reading human thoughts didn't start with today's flashy AI headlines. In fact, scientists have been chasing this dream for decades. Back in the 1920s, we had the very first EEG machines, big, clunky devices with wires and suction cups that could only pick up the faint electrical rhythms of the brain. They couldn't tell what you were thinking, of course, just that your brain was doing something. By the late 20th century, researchers started experimenting with brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs. At first, these were mostly for medical purposes, helping paralyzed patients control a cursor or move a robotic arm. But these early systems were slow, clumsy, and required a lab full of equipment. Then came the AI revolution. Machine learning algorithms started chewing through brainwave data the way a codebreaker chews through encrypted messages. Patterns emerged. Subtle spikes and dips in neural activity began to link to specific movements, emotions, even intentions. The leap wasn't just in the hardware, it was in the software that could finally interpret what those electrical signals actually meant. It's one thing to imagine the idea. It's another to actually see it work. In one lab, a volunteer stares at a picture, and without moving a muscle, a computer rebuilds the image, directly from patterns in their brain activity. In another, scientists decode entire sentences just from the tiny electrical ripples in someone's mind. It's not perfect, but it's like hearing a faint radio signal from inside your head. And then there's the mechanical arm, a robotic limb that moves when its user simply thinks about moving their own hand. No buttons, no joysticks, just thought. In other cases, people type on a virtual keyboard by imagining the letters. These aren't sci-fi movie props. They're happening right now in research labs across the world. Tiny, fragile steps towards direct communication between minds and machines. And every new breakthrough feels like a door opening to a future we didn't think we'd see this soon. Imagine slipping on your AR glasses, and without typing, speaking, or even moving, sending a perfectly formed text message straight from your brain. Your VR headset could respond to your mood, changing the environment when it senses stress or boredom. Social media companies could know what you think of a post before you even scroll past it, because your brain literally reacted in milliseconds. And advertisers? They've dreamed of reading your mind for decades. With BCIs, they wouldn't just track what you click, they could track what you considered. It's the end game of targeted marketing, and possibly the end of mental privacy as we know it. Imagine a future where your mind is no longer a private space. With BCIs everywhere, the risk of thought hacking becomes very real. Not just your data, your ideas, feelings, even your most personal memories could be stolen or altered. Governments could justify scanning citizen thoughts in the name of security, turning public spaces into mental checkpoints. Employers might use it to monitor worker focus, emotions, or even political leanings. It's the kind of control Orwell warned us about. But instead of cameras watching your actions, it's algorithms watching your mind. Let's pause for a second and ask the question nobody wants to touch. Who actually owns your thoughts? If a company builds the device, collects the data, and stores it on their servers, is it yours anymore? Some ethicists are already calling for mental privacy to be recognized as a basic human right. just like freedom of speech or the right to remain silent. But you can bet big tech lobbyists aren't lining up to make that law happen anytime soon. And here's the nightmare scenario. The law is too slow. By the time we figure out what rights we want, we might have already signed them away in the terms and conditions we never read. Now let's peek a little further down the rabbit hole. Imagine a world where Minority Report isn't just a movie, it's the morning news. Law enforcement doesn't wait for a crime to happen. They read a suspect's intention from brain patterns and stop them in advance. Sounds safe, until you realize intentions aren't always actions. Or picture this. An AI assistant that knows you so well, it orders dinner before you even feel hungry. It books trips, sends apologies, or drafts love letters, based not on what you tell it, but on what it senses you're about to feel. And relationships? Well, forget poker faces. In a world where nothing is truly private, trust takes on a whole new meaning. Your partner doesn't need to ask what's wrong, they already know. The question is, will that make us closer, or destroy the mystery that keeps human connection alive? Imagine a world where thoughts don't get stuck in your head. A world where a stroke can't silence you, because a neural interface gives you your voice back. Where students don't just study history, they remember it like they were there. Where creativity isn't limited by typing speed, or even language. Misunderstandings? Gone. Because your brain says what it means, and the other brain hears exactly that. It's not just a gadget, it's a bridge between minds. And for some, it could be nothing short of a miracle. Fast forward a decade, and brain-computer interfaces might be as normal as smartphones are today. You could check your messages without looking at a screen, simply by thinking about them. Your morning coffee order? Already in progress before you've even left your bed. The boundary between online and offline may fade entirely, creating a world where instant access to knowledge, seamless communication, and even immersive virtual realities are just a thought away. For better or worse, the next big leap in human technology might not be in our hands, but in our heads. The age of thought privacy is ending. Soon your brainwaves won't just be measured, they'll be monitored, stored, and analyzed. Not by accident, but by design. The question isn't whether they can read your mind, it's whether you'll still control it. Because once technology can whisper into your thoughts, it can also shout back. And when your inner world becomes just another user interface, who wins? You or the machine? This was Metafault, where reality doesn't just bend, it breaks. See you in the next distortion.